Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. This presentation covers Diagnostic Trouble Code DTC P1659, which indicates an ETCS, Electronic Throttle Control System, control relay off malfunction in a Honda Accord manufactured between 2012 and 2017. The ETCS control relay plays a crucial role in managing the throttle control in the vehicle, helping ensure that power delivery to the engine is managed efficiently. A malfunction in this area can lead to serious performance issues, affecting acceleration and overall vehicle responsiveness. The location of the ETCS relay is within the underhood fuse/relay box, making it somewhat accessible for checks. This code can result from multiple issues, not just the relay itself, and each must be diagnosed accurately to restore normal function. Today we will explore the error's details, possible causes, symptoms, and a step-by-step troubleshooting guide to assist you in resolving this issue effectively. Step 6 shifts focus to checking continuity in the DBW RLY out/VBW line, an essential component in the relay's functioning. First, the technician ensures the ignition is off and jumps the SCS service check signal line using the HDS. Disconnecting the specified PCM connector allows for precise continuity testing between the ETCS control relay and the PCM. This step helps affirm whether or not signals are being correctly transmitted. Achieving continuity at this test point means the wire is intact. On the contrary, a lack of continuity indicates an open circuit between the ETCS relay and the PCM, necessitating repairs to restore communication and rectify the P1659 code. In the 7th troubleshooting step, the focus is on the DBW RLY-CL wire. To initiate this, the technician will disconnect the PCM connector A, ensuring no power is flowing through the system. Continuity tests will be performed between the ETCS control relay and PCS, which helps confirm whether the wire is carrying the necessary signals effectively. Similar to previous tests, if continuity is confirmed, the wiring is in good shape, and the issue may lie elsewhere, such as needing software updates for the PCM. However, should continuity be absent, it would signify a fault somewhere along the wire, which would need to be rectified before advancing the troubleshooting process. For troubleshooting step 8, the technician must check for potential short circuits within the DBW RLY out VBW line. The ETCS control relay needs to be removed from its location in the underhood fuse relay box. After re-establishing the SCS line with the HDS, the relevant PCM connector is disconnected to facilitate a clean testing environment. This check verifies if any current is improperly flowing due to a fault. Establishing continuity means that a short condition likely exists, suggesting that repairs are necessary to rectify wiring issues between the PCM and control relay. However, if continuity is absent, it showcases that the wires themselves are intact, allowing the process to shift to further diagnostics as needed. In the 9th troubleshooting step, the technician will re-evaluate the +B DBW wire to confirm continuity. This is conducted with the ignition in the off position and all applicable connectors disconnected. Confirming continuity between the ETCS control relay and body ground ensures that the wire is functioning as intended. Detecting continuity allows for an assumption that the problem might lie elsewhere, possibly within the PCM. If continuity isn't confirmed, a short in the +B DBW wire may exist, which would require prompt repair. Furthermore, if all wires are verified okay, the technician must check for the latest software updates for the PCM. If updates are necessary, Following through and confirming the software is present ensures the proper functioning of the throttle control system. The final step in the repair process involves meticulous verification to ensure that all issues have been sufficiently resolved. First, the technician turns the ignition switch to lock and reconnects all connectors that were previously disconnected during testing. Following this, it is crucial to exit the SCS mode within the HDS, reinstating the system to its normal operational state. Next, the ignition must be turned to the on position again to enable the system to run diagnostic checks on itself. The technician should then reset the PCM and perform an idle learn procedure, ensuring that the PCM has recalibrated its settings post-repair. Finally, examining for any remaining pending or confirmed DTCs with the HDS will confirm the success of interventions and ensure that the vehicle is functioning as expected. Preventive maintenance plays a vital role in avoiding issues related to DTC P1659 and ensuring smooth operation of the vehicle's electronic throttle control system. Regular inspections of wiring connections can help identify weaknesses or signs of wear before they lead to larger problems. Keeping the underhood fuse box clean from debris and corrosion can prevent electrical failures. Equally important is ensuring that the PCM software is updated regularly to safeguard against bugs or compatibility issues that might arise. By adopting these preventive measures, not only can associated diagnoses be minimized, but the overall longevity and reliability of the vehicle can be enhanced. This proactive approach contributes significantly to maintaining optimum engine performance. In summary, DTC P1659 indicates a critical issue with the ETCS control relay, which if not addressed, can lead to poor throttle response and reduce overall engine performance. It is vital to clear the DTC using the HDS before beginning any kind of troubleshooting process. Throughout the diagnosis, following the outlined steps carefully is crucial for pinpointing the root cause of the issue. From verifying the relay condition to checking the wiring and PCM involvement, each step builds upon the previous one, forming a comprehensive diagnosis strategy. By methodically addressing each potential fault, technicians can restore proper functionality and ensure safe driving conditions. The importance of thorough troubleshooting and preventive maintenance cannot be overstated, as they are key to keeping vehicles operating smoothly. The error code P1659 is confirmed in Honda's diagnostic system, indicating an issue with the Electronic Throttle Control System, ETCS, control relay. This relay directly influences the throttle operation, facilitating smooth communication between the accelerator pedal and the engine control module. It essentially acts as a switch, allowing or cutting the power flow necessary for effective throttle management. The relay is situated within the underhood fuse relay box, which is typically located near the battery. If this relay fails, it can prevent the throttle system from receiving the correct signal, resulting in diminished vehicle performance. Accurate diagnostics can help pinpoint whether the relay itself is faulty or if there are other underlying electrical issues contributing to this malfunction. Several potential causes may lead to DTC P1659. First, a faulty ETCS control relay can be the primary reason for this error, as it's responsible for controlling throttle input. If the relay experiences internal failure, it can disrupt the signal flow to the throttle actuator. Second, open circuits in the drive-by-wire DBW lines, specifically the +B DBW line or DBW RLY out VBW line, may also cause this error code. These lines are crucial for sending and receiving voltage signals that manage throttle position. Lastly, shorted wires in the DBW lines could lead to erroneous feedback signals, further complicating the communication between the relay and the engine control unit. Each of these conditions can trigger P1659, hence the need for an accurate and thorough diagnostic process. The symptoms associated with DTC P1659 can significantly impact the driving experience. Primarily, the most noticeable symptom is the illumination of the check engine light on the dashboard. This is the vehicle's way of alerting the driver of existing issues within the control system. Additionally, drivers may notice reduced engine performance, making acceleration sluggish and unresponsive when pressing the gas pedal. Throttle response issues will also manifest, leading to a situation where the vehicle does not react promptly to driver inputs. These symptoms can adversely affect overall driving safety and experience, making it essential to address the underlying problem as soon as the DTC is triggered. The first step in troubleshooting DTC P1659 requires turning the ignition switch to the on position or using the start-stop button to select on mode. This action provides power to the vehicle's electrical system, allowing for diagnostic tests to be performed. Next, the technician will clear the DTC using the HDS Honda Diagnostic System. Clearing the trouble codes will enable the system to recheck for current or pending DTCs, ensuring that the issues can be accurately assessed. It is crucial to subsequently check for any DTCs that remain, particularly focusing on whether P1659 is indicated again. If the P1659 DTC reappears, it signifies a persistent issue that necessitates further investigation. In the second step, the ignition switch must be turned to the lock position to ensure all electrical systems are powered down safely. The technician will then check the A18 fuse located in the underhood fuse relay box. This 15A fuse is critical because it supplies power to the ETCS control relay. A simple visual inspection or using a continuity tester will help determine if the fuse is intact or blown. If the fuse is found to be in good condition, the technician can proceed to the next troubleshooting step. Conversely, if the fuse is blown, this indicates a possible short circuit or overload issue within the system, necessitating replacement and further investigation. Step 3 involves removing the ETCS control relay from the underhood fuse relay box for testing. Proper removal should be done carefully to avoid any damage to the relay or surrounding components. After extraction, the technician performs tests on the relay to check for proper functionality, typically using a multimeter to measure resistance and continuity. A functioning relay should show continuity when power is applied, indicating that it properly closes the circuit. If testing confirms that the relay is okay, the technician can move on to the next troubleshooting step. Conversely, if the relay is found to be faulty, replacing it is necessary to eliminate this as a source of the P1659 code. For step 4, the technician will again turn the ignition switch to on position, ensuring the ETCS control relay remains disconnected. Measuring the voltage between specified test points, one connected to the ETCS control relay 4P socket and the other to a suitable body ground, is crucial to verify circuit integrity. The test requires that the ignition is on to simulate operational conditions. Accessing these test points allows for confirmation of battery voltage presence in the circuit. If the voltage is present, it indicates that the supply to the relay is intact. However, should the voltage fail to register, it suggests a possible fault within the underhood fuse relay box, warranting the need for further diagnosis or replacement. In this step, The technician continues the voltage checks, specifically measuring the +B dBW line while keeping the ETCS control relay disconnected. Accurate measurement is taken between the ETCS control relay 4P socket and body ground, ensuring that the ignition is still on. Detecting battery voltage here is essential, as it confirms the integrity of the +B dBW wire and its connection to the control relay. If battery voltage is present, it indicates that this section of the circuit is functioning as intended. However, should there be no voltage, the technician must then check for breaks or faults in the +B dBW wire, or consider replacing the underhood fuse relay box, affirming proper circuit operation before moving forward. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.